Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You are tuned in to The Encourager, and my name is Nehru. I wanted to actually continue to talk about something that I started talking about or mentioned in today's angel reading post. And thank you again, subscribers and new listeners, for tuning in today or whenever you happen to listen to this. So, wanted to talk about or continue to speak on looking at the 3D, right? And compartmentalizing that, and then looking at the 5D. And again, that is a mirroring effect. Okay, so we're going through the book of Enoch right now, right? And so in the book of Enoch, which was removed or deleted from the common scriptures that we have today, back in the Roman Catholic time when the Roman Catholic Church decided that they were going to do away with it. And so they have help from others like the Vatican and so on and so forth. So in going through that book, right, we can see how it's a mirroring of Enoch and what Most High is showing Enoch here on the earth and what he's ascending and showing him in the spirit. And we're literally right in the midst of that reading right now. I think we're getting ready to start chapter 60, I believe, chapter 60. So I want to talk a little bit about that, a little more about that. Okay. And again, use myself as an example. I remember when I realized, again, I mentioned this something very interesting about the angel number readings today. The numbers literally added up to 15, 16, 17. Okay. And so, it's really interesting. So there are no coincidences. And I just realized that when I went back and listened to the video, or watched it, that the numbers added up to 15, 16, 17. So like 98 was the last angel number reading. That's a 17, right? So order. And I've been seeing it all week. Yesterday's synchronicities were off the chain, with the mirrored numbers. Like I look at the clock and it's 4:04, or 5:15, right? Or 3:30, those synchronicities yesterday were they were on high, very high. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit more about what my experience has been, specifically in talking about intimate relationships, okay? And how I, before becoming awakened, and all that goes into loving yourself and so on and so forth, right? Your chakra alignment and cleansing all your energy and all of that sort of thing. Separating yourself for a time from the world, from friends, from society in general, right? That's necessary. And anyone who's high vibration, they will tell you that. They could have been an alcoholic in a previous life, or, prior to them awakening. They could have been a drug addict. They could have been a hardcore criminal of some sort, right? They will tell you that solitude is absolutely necessary at some point of the journey. It absolutely is. Even though many of them have families and so on and so forth, it is necessary. And Most High will provide opportunity for that. And that might look like a firing or a layoff. For many of us, it looked like COVID-19. Okay. And so Yes. So, in looking at my situation and the things that I misconstrued as genuine love offers, or genuine soulmate offers, or soul connection offers, or soul companion offers, whatever word you want to use, okay? Those were actually opportunities for one of three things. To either, for me to heal something within myself, right? So that relationship showed me something, right? It's mirroring back to me, my habits and things. And then, right? And then the person thinks, when they're unawakened, they think, oh, they're mirroring back to me. Oh, that's good, right? So they're mirroring back to you your genuine self, though. They're not mirroring back to you your childhood wound itself. See, that's the thing. They can only mirror back to you your genuine self. That's all they can mirror back to you. They can't mirror back to you your demonic self. Okay? So, and that's good to know. That's revelation for me. Thank you, Most High. And perhaps for you too, right? They can only mirror back to you your true self. Okay? So that's how demon vampires suck people in, right? Because they mirror back to you your genuine self, and it's lovely. It's pure, it's good, it's unconditionally loving, and it's this wonderful, glowing, bright, beautiful being, and they love that. And the energy vampires like, ugh. Luciferians are like, oh yeah, dinner time, right? Because they're just mirroring back. And I thought that it's pure love. Because I'm looking at it like they're mirroring back to me who I am. And I'm true unconditional love. But they're mirroring my genuineness back to me. And I'm mirroring them back to them. And so what does that look like? Whatever their childhood wounds are, right? Could be alcoholic, drinking, drug addict, hate, discrimination, disgruntled behavior. It could be anything, right? Mental manipulation, narcissistic tendencies, right? Whatever they are, okay? Or whatever they're trying to hide. And so maybe you can mirror back either, now that I think about it, perhaps, okay? Because you can exhibit their bad habits. And I know that for a fact, because I've been there, okay? I've had that flip done on me, okay? Where they took my image. My right palm is like tingling. They took my true image, who I was when I met them, unconditionally loving, and they mirrored back to me that image. Me, I assumed, and again, this happened more than once. I assumed that was genuine love, when in fact they weren't. Okay? They were not. So this is painting the big picture of what it looks like when you look at the 3D and the 5D. My right hand is really tingling. And so on the outside, again, in the 3D, it looks like they're loving, they're caring, they're genuine, right? It looks like that. But here's how you check. You check yourself to see where you are. How have I changed since I met them? So I'm going to use my example. So when I met the karmic Scorpio, okay, I was this bright, unconditionally loving, happy-go-lucky guy. Still giving too much. I was still giving too much to people because I was an overgiver. So that was still something that needed to be corrected and healed, right? But, right, I wasn't attached to anyone. Okay. I was happy. I was free. And yeah, business was going good. I hadn't been in business. I was out of transplant for 2 years at that point when we met. From transplant, or at least when we started dating. We met in 18, so I was a year out, but there was no communication or anything. So then what ended up happening was I was doing great. Everything was fine. The business was doing fantastic. I think I was out on my own like maybe a year and a half, and it had already grown to a 6-figure business, right? And that's all me solo by myself, no employees, right? I was doing fantastic. Things were going really, really well, right? I meet her, or we start dating, okay? I stopped writing in my journals. I stopped going to the gym. And all of these things started happening. And at some point towards the end, I remember one day opening up my journal and realizing like 10 months had gone by and I had not written in it. And I was like, and that might sound kind of silly to somebody, but for someone who is spiritual as I am, and someone who is a scribe, that's extremely significant. That's like, I don't know, Picasso not painting for an extended period of time. Like, what's going on? What's happening? You know? And so, like, Kobe being like, yeah, I don't want to play basketball today. I don't want to practice. Like, shit, what? What's wrong with you? Like, you don't want to what? What? Somebody want to take his temperature? Something's going to take his blood, right? Something's going on, right? So that's when I was like, wow, I have not written in, I was like, whew. And then I started to think about all the ways that I had changed, how I had started drinking, and I was not drinking like that way before I started dating her. I started thinking about all of these things, and then it all started to make sense. And I was like, oh, and slowly but surely, Holy Spirit just started, bloop, bloop, just started. And I know that pipeline was full because those revelations started coming in fast, okay? Fast, right? Or realizations, I guess. Not they weren't revelations, they were realizations. And that's when I began to understand how someone can mirror your energy back to you. They can take it, that was a honk from a train or something. They can take your energy and reflect it back to you. Okay? And I was shocked when I realized all of this. I was disappointed in myself, and felt hoodwinked and bamboozled and yeah, right? But then I had to start the healing process. Okay? I had to start the healing process. And in my case, no one came to my rescue. No one. Okay? And there were many actually, because I had a large social group. I don't have many at all today. I had a large social group. I was in a bowling league and all of that stuff at one point. And they would send me, a few of them would send me a text message here and there, from the bowling team. And then right before I decided to relocate, a couple of people from the Rock of Central Florida reached out to me, but by then I had not been there for like 9 months or something like that, you know? And again, Steve Parker, he didn't reply to the email that I sent him when I told him about what was going on with the Scorpio, you know, and 1444 when I looked down at the video timer. And so, recognizing recognizing when you are being duped, okay? The only way to do this, to catch this, is you have to be spiritually awake enough to catch it. Okay? I remember I had a conversation with a gentleman that I had done some business with in Ponte Vedra, Florida. And he was telling me, he did tell me, I will say this about him. He told me, he said, your authoritative nature, or your boldness, he said, that's going to do well. He said that's going to like do well for you, or that's going to do well for you for whatever you're meant to do in life, or something like that, he said. Thank you. He said something like that, right? And that is one true thing he said to me. But, right, so I caught him in a lie. So we were talking about a check that was owed to me for some work that I had done for him. And maybe he was waiting for cash flow to come in. Maybe, he was trying to buy time or whatever else, right? And so we're having this conversation because I think I called him and asked him about it. And he says, he's telling me we're going on, and we're probably maybe a minute and a half or something into the conversation, him telling me, like, when can we get together and blah, 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 blah. And then he says, I forgot, me and my wife are going to Puerto Rico or something. We're going to Hawaii or something like that in the morning. And I said, bullshit, Rick. I said, bullshit. I said, you are lying to me, right? And he didn't like that. And that was the very last thing I ever said to him. The very last thing I ever said to him. We're not talking you're not coming up with an excuse off the top of your head 2 minutes into the conversation as to why. If you were going to a travel trip like that, you would have mentioned that at the very beginning. Don't try to pull shit over my eyes. You know what I mean? Right? So, but I was spiritually awakened at that time. Otherwise, he might have thought he got away with something. He didn't get away with shit, right? You're not lying to me. And so, understanding how your spiritual awareness protects you can never be understated or overstated, either one. Never can be. And we need to understand and overstand, right? You can never, ever, ever, ever underestimate the protection that you being spiritually awakened and your energy being clear, what that does for you. It's like giving, okay? Me giving a guy on the street a 5, 10, or 20, and yes, I do that, right? Give him that money. I have no idea what that's doing for me other than, did you feed my homeless? Most High, Warlord of all the earth? Yes, I did. Did you clothe my Most High, Lord of God? Yes, I did. Do you know what I mean? So that for me, that's what it does, right? But I don't know spiritually what it does. Confirmation. I don't know spiritually what it does for me, right? Because that seed is sown and it could turn into anything, right? Here on earth, an apple tree can't grow a pear, but spiritually speaking, anything is possible. Again, thank you, Horn, right? So thank you so much again for tuning in. I don't know what the title of this is going to be. I guess maybe something like the mirroring effect or something. Wherever you are today, subscribers, thank you. We are up to 41. When we get to 50, I know I will be able to then do live posts. And so, yeah. So I look forward to to being able to do that. That'll be a better way to connect with you all, and yeah, and maybe you'll see my face more instead of the black screen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name's Nehru, and you've been tuned into The Encourager. Here, we are all about you becoming, we becoming, us becoming our highest, truest, purest forms here on earth. Thank you very much.